They have season 8 of luxury yacht swap.
Don't do it.
Free trial started.
You did it.
And it's all smooth sailing until you forget to cancel.
The Bank of Montreal is a Canadian multinational investment bank and financial services company. The company was founded on June 23, 1817 as Montreal Bank and was renamed to Bank of Montreal in 1822. And to this very day, the company is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. 19th century.
That's the BMO effect.
The bank was established on June 23, 1817, when a group of merchants signed the Articles of Association, formally creating the Montreal Bank.
Very good, Elijah.
The signers of the document include Robert Armour, John C. Bush, Austin Collier, George Garden, Horatio Gates, James Leslie, George Muffet, John Richardson, and Thomas A. Turner.
Happy birthday, Prince.
The bank was first located in rooms rented on Rue St. Paul, Montreal, before moving to its permanent building on Rue St. Paul in 1818. In the same year, the bank opened its first branch in Quebec City, and several offices in Upper Canada, including Amherstburg, Kingston, Perth, and York, which is present-day Toronto.
Is that in your jacket?
The bank also opened its first foreign permanent office in 1818, opening an office in William Street in New York City. By 1822, the bank converted from the status it had held since its founding as a private company owned by a small group of people into a public company owned by 144. At this time, it became officially known by its current name. Expansion into Upper Canada was halted in 1824 after legislation from the Parliament of Upper Canada forbade bank branches whose head office were not based in Upper Canada from operating. In 1838, the bank re-entered the Upper Canadian market with the purchase of the Bank of the People, a bank based in Toronto. BMO was permitted to open its own branches in the area after Upper Canada and Lower Canada were united to create the Province of Canada in 1841. Shortly after the two colonies merged, the bank opened branches into Cobourg, Belleville, Brockville, and Ottawa. Expansion into the Maritimes and Western Canada was facilitated while following Canadian Confederation. In 1877, the bank opened its first branch into Western Canada with the opening of a branch in Winnipeg. New branches were also opened in the Maritimes in Halifax, Moncton, and St. John completed shortly after Confederation. The Bank of Montreal established branches in Newfoundland colony on January 31st, 1895, at the behest of the colonial government. The colonial government of Newfoundland made the request to the Bank of Montreal 4 days after the collapse of the Commercial Bank and Union Bank of Newfoundland on December 10, 1894. 20th century. By 1907, the bank had branches in every province of Atlantic Canada, with the opening of a branch in Charlottetown. Expansion into the Maritimes was further facilitated with the acquisition of the Exchange Bank of Yarmouth in 1903, the People's Bank of Halifax in 1905, and the People's Bank of New Brunswick in 1906. The early 20th century also saw the bank acquire several financial institutions that helped increase its presence in Newfoundland and areas west of Quebec, including the Ontario Bank in 1906, the Bank of the British North America in 1918, and the Merchants Bank of Canada in 1921. During this period, the bank also acquired the Montreal-based Molson Bank in 1925. In 1942, the bank ended production of its own bank notes, which were in circulation in Canada since 1871. By 1944, the central bank of the country, the Bank of Canada, became the sole issuer of currency in Canada, and notes from private banks were withdrawn. In 1960, the Bank of Montreal moved its operational headquarters to a 17-story structure next to its historic head office. The building served as the bank's operational headquarters until 1977, when it moved to First Canadian Place on Bay Street in Toronto in 1977. The structure was named after the slogan of the bank, the First Canadian Bank, a slogan that was introduced in 1969. The bank's present M-bar logo was also introduced during this time in 1967. However, the bank's legal headquarters remains at the historic Montreal head office, with First Canadian Place formerly listed as the executive office of the bank. In 1984, the bank acquired Chicago-based Harris Bank through its parent, Harris Bank Corp., later rebranded as BMO Harris Bank. In 1987, the bank acquired stock brokerage Nesbitt, Thompson and Company. Several years later, the bank assumed control of two retail branches formerly belonging to the Standard Chartered Bank of Canada. In 1994, the Bank of Montreal became the first Canadian bank to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. In 1995, the bank opened its first branch in Guangzhou, formally receiving a license to operate the branch on November 20th, 1996. In doing so, the bank became the first Canadian bank to receive a license to operate in China. During the 1990s, BMO acquired a number of other banks in the Chicagoland area, merging them under the Harris Bank name, including the Suburban Bank Corp. Incorporated in 1994 and Household Bank in 1999. In 1998, the Bank of Montreal and the Royal Bank of Canada announced they had agreed to a merger pending approval from the government. Government regulators later blocked the proposed merger, along with a similar proposal by the Toronto Dominion Bank to merge with the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Although the banks did not merge in 2000, the Bank of Montreal, together with the Royal Bank of Canada, merged their merchant payment processor business to form Montreal's Solutions 21st Century. In 2006, BMO bought BCP Bank, a Schedule C financial institution that was the Canadian division of Banco Comercial Portuguese, with 8 branches in the Toronto West area. In 2008, a Bank of Montreal trader pleaded guilty to intentionally mismarking his trading book in order to increase his bonus from the bank. In 2009, BMO purchased AIG's Canadian life insurance business, AIG Life Insurance Company of Canada, for approximately 330 million Canadian dollars. The transaction, including 400,000 customers and 300 employees, made BMO the second biggest life insurer among Canadian banks. The new component was renamed BMO Life Assurance Company. In the same year, the Bank of Montreal acquired the Diners Club International's North American franchise from Citibank. The transaction gave BMO exclusive rights to issue Diners cards in the US and Canada. In October 2010, the bank became the first Canadian bank to incorporate in China, with branches in China operating as BMO Chinaco. In December 2010, BMO announced the purchase of Milwaukee-based Marshall and Ilsley and was later amalgamated with its Harris Bank operations. When the transaction completed, M&I Bank, along with current Harris Bank branches, were rebranded BMO Harris Bank. In 2014, the bank acquired London-based Foreign and Colonial Investment Trust, later rebranding it as BMO Commercial Property Trust in 2019. In September 2015, BMO agreed to acquire General Electric Company, subsidiary of GE Capital's Transportation Finance Unit. The business acquired has $8 to $7 billion US dollars, which is 11.5 billion Canadian dollars of assets, 600 employees, and 15 offices in the US and Canada. Exact terms were not disclosed, but the final price would be based on the value of the assets at closing plus a premium according to the parties. BMO and Simply Financial, a subsidiary of the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, were the targets of hackers in May 2018 who claimed to have compromised the systems of both banks and stolen information on a combined 90,000 customers, 50,000 from BMO. An email sent from a Russian address and attributed to the hackers demanded a ransom of $1 million from each company paid via Ripple by 11:59 p.m. on May 28, 2018, or the information would be released on Fraud Forum and Fraud Community. In 2018, BMO went into the marijuana sector with a $175 million deal for a stake in a producer. It was the first investment in the sector by a Big Five Canadian bank. In January 2018, the bank was accused in a lawsuit along with 5 other Canadian banks for conspiring to rig a Canadian rate benchmark to improve profits from derivatives trading. Setting a similar goal to competitors in October 2018, the company had stated it wanted to attract 1 million new customers to its personal banking division over the following 5 years. BMO was the bank with the second most deposits in Chicago by June 2018 with 11.5% market share. Also that month, its BMO Harris division was operating in 8 states in the US. The Bank of Montreal had $743.6 billion in cash of assets and ranked among the top 10 North American banks in that status. In September 2018, the bank CEO stated to the press that the bank would have around $1 billion in earnings from their U.S. operations that year. After resigning from the Canadian Liberal cabinet, Scott Bryson was hired by the bank as its vice chair of investment and corporate banking in February 2019. In February 2019, it became reported that its U.S. retail profits had surged. The bank moved its New York City headquarters in April 2019 to a former Condé Nast building. That month, the bank's Irish subsidiary was fined several million for a license breach. To settle charges by the SEC that it hid conflicts of interest from clients in 2016, in September 2019, the Bank of Montreal 2 units in Chicago paid $38 million. In December 2019, the bank cut 2,300 jobs after a drop in quarterly earnings, affecting around 5% of the workforce. The company had plans to double indigenous lending in September 2019. There was controversy and protests in January 2020 after a Vancouver branch of the bank handcuffed a 12-year-old First Nations girl and her grandfather for an identification discrepancy. The Vancouver mayor criticized the bank for what he termed giving false information to the police. The police were afterwards investigated. In January 2020, BMO launched an Indigenous Advisory Council with Indigenous members from a number of provinces. The CEO of the bank argued against fossil fuel divestment in March 2020 after it acquired $3 billion of energy loans from Deutsche Bank DBK GN.de in 2018. In April 2020, the company stated it would temporarily cut credit card interest rates to ease the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on clients. The company described accelerating its automation in August 2020. In March 2021, BMO affirmed the need to reach global net zero climate targets by 2050 and to create a climate institute committed to understanding and managing the financial risk and opportunities related to a low carbon transition. And there's the history of Bank of Montreal. How did it become so popular? Well, when they started opening offices, when they started opening offices outside of Canada, like in the US and China, that is how they became very popular. Anyways, this is where I'm going to end off this video. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe because I do videos every single day. And also, don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a single video that I upload. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my second channel. My second channel will be the third link in the description below. And if you guys would like to, follow me or send me fan art, you guys can send me fan art and follow my Instagram. My Instagram will be the second link in the description below. And if you guys would like to join my Roblox fan group, my Roblox fan group will be the first link in the below. And if you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter will be the fourth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to follow me on Reddit, my Reddit will be the fifth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to follow me on TikTok, my TikTok will be the sixth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to check out my Facebook page, my Facebook page will be the seventh link in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!